Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I have something a little bit different for you today. I have made an intermediate yoga flow. Intermediate meaning whatever that means to you, but anybody can do this with modifications. So let's get started on our knees with our eyes closed on your mat. Just start taking some deep inhales and exhales. Focus on the breath. Focus on filling up your lungs. Inhale. And exhale. You can start to bring your shoulders up on your inhale and roll them back on your exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Coming to our tabletop position, make sure your hands are directly under your shoulders and your knees directly under your hips. You're going to reach your right arm forward, left leg back, reaching from the back of the heel, trying to create one straight line, and we're going to pulse up, 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 up. And we're going to reach back for our left foot and pull it upwards just ever so slightly, feeling that twist. Deep inhale. And exhale, release back to tabletop position. And we're going to do the other side, so reaching the right leg back and the left arm forward. And we're going to pulse up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And reaching back for that foot, grabbing the inside, pulling up ever so slightly and twisting to your left side, really feeling the twist. And releasing back to tabletop position. And we're going to tuck our toes under for our first downward dog of the day. And feel free to walk your dog out here, pedaling the heels. Getting into those calves and those hamstrings for the first time. And step wide as the edges of your mat. You're going to take your right arm, reach to your left ankle, and twist. This is one of my favorite twisting positions. And back to neutral and twisting to the other side. It's fun to see the world upside down, I find, in this position. And back to downward facing dog. And walking up to the top of your mat, up for a halfway lift, inhale, exhale, forward fold, inhale all the way up, and hands come to Namaskar, heart center. I am quite tall, so you can't see my head in the frame, but I'm sure you know what to do here. Close your eyes and set your intention for today's practice, whether that is just to be grateful for the body you're in. And inhale all the way up, optional back bend, and down to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to your plank. And we're going to go for our first vinyasa flow of the day. Onto the tops of the toes, keeping the knees off the mat and pushing it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, heels high. Exhale, knees low, flowing forward into a plank. And back. Just taking a few spinal flows into plank and back to downward dog. Getting mobility in the spine. And bending the knees, hopping to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms up overhead. Option for a back bend. Forward fold. And inhale, halfway lift. Plant the hands, step or hop it back to plank, optional vinyasa, and meeting back in downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to lift up the left leg. This is a bit of a balance challenge. You're going to take your right hand off the mat and try to balance. And once you've got it, release hand and foot down, switching legs. You really have to focus on your core and stabilizing your core here. Because it's hard, and it's okay if you fall. Balance is something you create, not something you find. Inhale, heels high. Exhale, knees low. Hop step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and sweeping the arms overhead. Option for a back bend, and back to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Press the palms down. Step or hop back to plank. Go through your vinyasa, meeting back in downward facing dog. We're just going to do a couple rounds of this to generate some heat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, sweep the arms overhead to chair. Sit deep. Roll the shoulder blades back. Tuck the tummy in. Try to press your belly button towards your spine. Sit a little bit deeper if you can. Remember to breathe. Bring your hands to heart center, namaskar. You're going to come up onto the balls of your feet and slowly sink your hips to your heels. And we're going to tilt forward, remaining on our tiptoes, and try and stand straight up while staying on the balls of our feet. It's a bit of a challenge, as you can see me wobbling, but that's okay. That means we're working hard. And we sit back into chair pose. Twisting to the right, keeping the elbow off of the knee at first, and then letting the left elbow relax onto the right knee to get a deeper twist in the spine. My back always cracks at this point. Option to open the arms. And bringing the arms back to heart center. Bringing the left foot back into a lunge. Carefully pulsing back and forth. Trying to find the extension in the back leg. And deep inhale. Exhale. Finding your balance on your right leg. Try and keep the left foot off the ground. I know it's hard. And we're going to tap directly to our side with the left foot. Tap back. Just the toe on the floor. And tap to the side, our right side, putting the edge of our left foot on the floor. Still remaining twisted. We're kind of in a half Shiva squat, half twisted chair here. Back to twisted chair and down to forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, go through your vinyasa. Big inhale, audible exhale, downward facing dog. And float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms overhead, back to chair. Palms facing inwards, shoulders back. And we're doing a little bit of a deep pulse. I like to let my arms do what they're feeling here. I don't really know what that is in the yoga vocabulary, but just feel yourself, Hands to namaskar. Twisting to the left, using our abdominals before we relax the right elbow onto the left knee. And pressing against it for more of a twist in the back. Option to open the hands. And coming back to heart center. Big inhale. And reaching our right leg back to a low lunge. It's okay if you fall, just like I did. And carefully pulsing. Remembering to engage the right leg. Smiling at butterflies if they fly by you. And deep inhale to find our balance on our left leg. Coming to a half Shiva squat, half twisted chair. We reach our foot out to the side and back to Shiva. Just the toe to the back and back to Shiva. And reaching the right foot to our left side, back to Shiva. And coming back to our twisted chair. Forward fold. Nice halfway lift. Plant the hands, step, hop, or float back to your vinyasa. And meeting in downward facing dog. If you ever need to take a child's pose, of course, feel free. This is your practice. Do what feels good to you. We're going to inhale the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale the leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Really engaging your abdominals on each of these. Reach the leg up. And exhale, right knee to left elbow. Then we're going to go right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow 2 more times. And hold on the left elbow, extending the leg to the side and reaching up for a fallen star. Big inhale. And exhale, hover the right leg off the ground if you can, if that's available to you, and bending into the left knee carefully and straightening it. We're coming into a figure 4 twisted fallen star on the other side. Lots of stability here and lots of strength. You might need to hop to readjust. You just want to walk your hands back to your feet. So you're in a figure 4 position. You should be getting a deep hip stretch in your right glute. If it's available to you, you might want to take a bind. I like doing this because it always opens up my shoulders. So you just wrap around your right knee. And if it's in your practice today, you can ground through your left foot and rise up, keeping the core engaged, finding your dosha, your gaze to focus on. Remembering balance is not something you find, it's something you create. And slowly, carefully, gently, delicately reversing, coming back to your position and walking the hands out to a plank. This is kind of a funky thing I do. You can take the first part of your vinyasa high to low push-up in the figure 4 and then extend your legs back into upward facing dog. And meeting back in downward facing dog. Walking out the heels and reaching the left leg up. Left knee to left elbow. Back up to the sky. Bring the knee to your nose, giving your knee a kiss if you want to. And reaching the leg back up. Left knee to right elbow. And we go left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, right elbow. Last one. Hold, and reaching the left leg out to our fallen star. Inhale, hover the left leg. Exhale, bend into the right knee softly. Inhale to our figure 4 position. Twisting open to the other side. Remaining in our figure 4 position. Keeping everything engaged. And walking the hands to the back of the mat. Again, option to take a bind. Took me a second to find my hands here, and that's okay. And if it's in your practice today, feel free to root into your right leg and rise up. Taking a few deep breaths. And carefully, meticulously reversing our position, coming to a plank with the left heel cross over the right knee. Option to start your vinyasa in that funky pose and meeting back in downward facing dog. And we're going to inhale the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring it to your nose. And stepping it through to our low lunge. Reaching the arms up. Keeping the abdominals engaged. Optional back bend. Cactusing the arms. And reaching forward to the front of your mat. Inhale. Back bend. Wipe off the sweat if you need to. Exhale, reaching forward. And breathing back, bringing the hands back to Namaskar, pivoting into our skandasana, keeping the hands at heart center. Make sure your knee stays over your ankle, keeping the abdominals engaged, and switching to our left side. If you need your hands for this, that's totally an option. Added challenge, keeping the hands at heart center, back to the right side. You're going to let your left hip sit on the ground, let your right knee rotate in, and reach the left arm to the top of your mat. Really trying to get in that twist and taking your moment to breathe. You're going to thread your left arm through for a nice little side stretch in the right side body. And on your next inhale, coming back to Skandasana and pivoting back into our lunge. And with a deep breath, we're going to launch ourselves forward into Warrior 3. Keeping the core engaged and a slight upward facing dog in the upper body. Hands come to heart center. Keeping a slight bend in the right leg just to protect the knee. And we're going to come to a Shiva squat, so bending both knees and twisting to a revolved half moon pose. Carefully coming back to our Shiva squat and opening up to Warrior 3. Exhale, Shiva. Nice and slow. Inhale, whoop, to our half moon pose. Right arm can come to a block here if that's something you feel would assist you. And stepping back into Warrior 2, reaching forward, reverse your warrior, cartwheel the arms down, option to hover the leg as you go through your vinyasa. And meeting back in downward facing dog. So reaching the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, and step it through, coming into our low lunge. Reaching up, shoulders back, keeping the knee over the toe. And cactus the arms out, reaching forward. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, cactus the arms and bringing them to heart center. We're going to pivot into our Skandasana. Again, carefully sitting, make sure the knee is not too far over the toes. And coming up, switching to our right side Skandasana. Starting to get really sweaty here, that's why I'm glowing. And back to the left side Skandasana. And letting the right hip sit on the ground, twisting open, reaching with that right hand, really feeling that twist in your spine, and threading the right arm through to get that nice stretch in the left side body. And coming back to our Skandasana, we're going to go into our goddess pose, and we're going to bounce, we're going to pulse. Feel free to cactus the arms out as I am doing here. Just trying to create some heat in the legs, the hamstrings, the glutes. Right heel comes up, left heel comes up, right heel comes up, left heel comes up, and both heels come up. And folding forward into our wide leg forward fold. Hands can clasp and fall forward for a good old shoulder stretch. And reaching the right palm to the left leg for a nice twist, opening up to the sky, and left hand to right foot for a twist on the other side. And coming back carefully to our low lunge. Reaching up and launching ourselves forward into our Warrior 3. Remember to keep the hips square, slight bend in the left leg. Hands can come to Namaskar, and we slowly transition into our Shiva squat and opening up to revolved half moon. I remember there was a bee right under my finger there. I was definitely sweating on it, but the bee wasn't too mad at me. Back to our Shiva squat and opening up to Warrior 3. Back to our Shiva squat one more time. Opening up to half moon pose. Feel free to reach for a block or the ground or hovering. And back to Warrior 2, reversing your warrior into, I like to straighten my legs so it becomes more of a triangle. And cartwheeling down, going through your vinyasa. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Really pressing your heart. We're going to do a few flows from plank back to downward facing dog. So really just find the mobility in your back. Do what feels good to you here. And coming down to our child's pose for a much needed rest. Find your breath, reconnect with your breath. Inhale, and a nice loud exhale. Coming back to tabletop of your mat, reaching the right foot to the top corner of your mat, and stretching back for half monkey pose. Feel free to shake the leg out. Stretch in whatever way feels best to you. And if it's available to you, you can come into a full split. You may be really sweaty here like I am. That is okay. Embrace it. If you feel like you want a nice little back bend here, that is available to you. Go for it. Or if you feel like you want a nice forward fold here. Also a great option. Coming back to half monkey pose. We're going to hover the right leg off. Pulse 3, 2, 1. And coming back to our tabletop position. Switching legs, bringing the left foot to the top left corner. And stretching back into our half monkey pose. Wiggle it out. And if it's in your practice today, feel free to go into your full split. Wipe the sweat off your face and stretch it, girl. Always remembering to stay in tune with your breath. And if it's in your practice today, feel free to do a nice heart-opening back bend or a good old forward fold. Take what you need. And coming back to our half monkey pose. Hovering the left leg off the ground, just a little lower abs, really quick. 3, 2, 1, and coming back to our tabletop position. Back to our downward facing dog, really pressing the heart in and hopping down to a seated position. Focusing on our breath, maybe you close down the eyes here. And scooching forward so that you can lie down comfortably onto your mat. Bringing your knees into your chest and just doing some circles, clockwise and counterclockwise, and releasing your legs one at a time onto your mat. Make any final adjustments for your last pose, shavasana. And just let yourself feel heavy. Let yourself let go. Relax into the ground. Relax into your breath. Let it be natural. Let it be good. Thoughts may come into your head, but just let them pass by. Don't attach yourself to any of them. Your thoughts are like clouds. You can just lay there and observe. And really thank your body for this practice it just allowed you to have. Bringing some movement into your fingers and toes, rolling onto your side body, keeping the eyes closed or downcast, pushing up into a seated position. Once again, thanking your body for this wonderful practice it allowed you to have. Bringing your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice, my first yoga practice on this channel. I'm so grateful for you. Namaste.